Okay, it says I'm live. Let's see if chat chimes in. I had, oh my God, the troubles I had last night. I did 4 videos and talking to no one. They're all spliced up in my YouTube account. I'm going to go back and redo them. I didn't announce this one because YouTube, I've not taken a chance on them. Um, Stopping my videos. So if you're in chat, please chime in. Let me oh, the trouble I went through last night. Let me share this out. Bear with me, guys. YouTube's been screwing with me bad. I have no idea if I'm live or not. And if the notifications went out to everybody. Okay, Donald's going to get on there and see if he can chat. Had tons of people in chat. Okay, Donald's here. Good deal. Let me share this out to the public. So far, so good. Y'all just bear with me. Anybody else out there in chat? Let me share it to some other pages. Ashley Hines. Hey, okay, good. Ashley's there. Ashley, did you tell everybody? I'm trying to share this out on Facebook. Let's pray and hope I can get through this for the 15th time. Okay, she's working on it. While she's doing that, I'm gonna post on Facebook. Shoot. See if that posted. Let's see if they'll keep me on. Anybody watching the replay, you can fast forward through this part. This is, if you know, well, they know what I've been through last night. I think it took like 4 tries and I was buffering. Am I buffering? Me. I was so exhausted when I got off air last night. I just crashed. Maybe we'll have better luck today. Very important stuff. Okay. Countryman, so glad to see you back on here, beautiful lady. Okay, good. It's getting out. The notifications are getting out. Tell me, I feel like I have to just start over, and I hate to do that. But I think I'll save the Terry Wayne Miller stuff for last. I think we'll just jump to the Anthony Scott stuff. Anthony Scott was 46 years old. Anthony Shane Scott. He went missing on 11 p.m., around 11 p.m., December 4th. And then his last 911 call was at 5 a.m., Wednesday, December 5th. The way he died, well, we're going to find out. We're going to figure it out. Kevin Bell, the sheriff, tried to insinuate that he succumbed to the weather, which was BS. The weather was in like the 20s and 30s. This has hitman cops written all over it. Wait till you hear the 911 calls, and then the voice messages to his daughter where he's saying this is the craziest thing I've ever seen. But it all relates back to Boys on the Tracks, okay, Jay Campbell. So we're going to reread for the third time the article that shows you who Anthony Shane Scott was. Let's see. Back in, and I plan on doing a out of control in Lonoke County when Jay Campbell, Kelly Campbell, and the mayor were running a criminal enterprise. Let's see. So far, so good, right? No buffering. I'm still on here. Can somebody answer? I'm so paranoid. Somebody pop up. Clear picture. Can you hear me? We got a Huntsville, Alabama guy. That's nice. Nobody's chatting, saying it's a clear picture and y'all can hear me well. Donald or Ashley or somebody, could y'all chime in and let me know that it's good? It's sickening because chat was booming last night. I mean, because I was able to get the word out beforehand. And this morning I decided, no, I'm just going to surprise YouTube and get on here and then try to share it all. You know, you know that you have a lawsuit against your provider. No, you're not buffering. You have a lawsuit because of Trump's EO on free speech and your providers censoring your free speech. That is for sure. I hope you start releasing new content a few times a week. That's my plan. That's my plan. Went through back surgery and then breast surgery last year. Had a rough year. Um, Lost my purpose there for a little bit. It's back, and I'm back. Obviously, after last night, I uh, debated on whether to even try today, but this has just got to get out. Casey Fox, hey, okay, good, good. So, if you've already heard this story, can't hurt to hear it again. Um, and like I said, because it kept cutting me off, but we're going to learn who Shane Anthony Scott was. Anthony Shane Scott. I keep getting it confused. He goes by Shane. He goes by Shane, his middle name. And so I keep wanting to call him Shane Anthony Scott, but it's Anthony Shane Scott. Okay, good. We got quite a few in chat now. All right. Back in 2005, when Jay Campbell was police chief of Lone Oak, the city of Lone Oak, he got into all kinds of trouble, including my father-in-law at the time. We talked about this. He was a U.S. attorney, and the 309 prisoners that they were letting out of the Department of Corrections to come to city and county jails to do public work stuff. And instead, the mayor, Bob Govar, my ex-father-in-law, Jay Campbell, they were having them do private work on their property. That's just part of it. Jay Campbell got charged with manufacturing methamphetamine. So did Kelly Campbell. She got charged with all kinds of stuff. She was screwing Anthony Shane Scott in the prison. Okay. This is how ridiculous and deep this goes. Um, so he gets called to testify. Anthony Shane Scott did, to uh, take Jay and Kelly Campbell down. I mean, he was the star, Lana McCaslin's star witness in this case. And Jay Campbell ended up getting 40 years. He got out after 2 with a crooked judge. And then Kelly Campbell, I think, got 2 years. Anthony Shane Scott was, make sure I'm saying that right, on parole. He was not parole at the time. He was in prison for a 20-year sentence for a bank robbery, and he got to be one of these 309 prisoners. And he served his time. He was doing good, minding his P's and Q's when he died. And this is just this past December. It's interesting to know. You think, okay, all this stuff happened in 07, but why wait till 2024 to kill him? Well, the reason is he had just gotten out on parole last year and went to a halfway house. He was free maybe 4 months before his death. Y'all are going to die when you hear these 911 calls. You're just gonna die. Okay, inmate says he exploited ex-chief's wife. Yes, with my Diet Coke. A state inmate. I need my glasses. Can't remember if I used them or not last night. Terry Bryant was here. We have fun time with glasses. These are my red ones. Oh, yeah, that helps. A state inmate who admitted in previous testimony to having a sexual relationship with Kelly Campbell described her Monday as desperate, obsessive, and willing to do anything to keep the relationship going. The statements came in the ninth day of testimony in the trial of Campbell, her husband, former Lone Oak Police Chief Jay Campbell, and Bobby Jr. Cox, a bail bondsman. The three are accused of conspiring in a criminal organization aimed at getting drugs, sex, and money. Anthony Shane Scott, who is serving a 20-year prison sentence for robbery, took the witness stand for the second time Monday, testifying that Kelly Campbell became increasingly insistent on seeing him every day. Yeah, the judge needs to be investigated, all right. If you're familiar with Boys on the Tracks, they unretired Judge John Cole, who was over the grand jury of the Boys on the Tracks in '87, and brought him in to do this trial. Just that's a note. 20-year prison sentence for robbery, took the witness stand for the second time Monday, testifying that Kelly Campbell became increasingly insistent on seeing him every day. Scott had testified Wednesday. The trial was in recess Thursday and Friday. If I didn't spend time with her on a daily basis, I knew that she was going to be around all day, calling on the cell phone 10 to 15 times, Scott said. Scott was housed in Lone Oak Jail as an Act 309 prisoner from January through July 2005. The Act 309 program is designed to alleviate state prison overcrowding while providing public works crews at city and county jails. Instead, they were mowing the lawn of the mayor and Bob Govar, U.S. Attorney, my ex-father-in-law, Jay Campbell. They were fixing pools. They were throwing pool parties. I mean, you name it. Throughout the relationship, Scott said he lied to Kelly Campbell, stringing her along with made-up stories about his childhood. She asked me about everything he said. I wasn't honest about most of it. The inmate said as he began to lose interest in the relationship, Kelly Campbell became increasingly desperate. Scott said he took advantage of her feelings by getting her to do things for him. At one point, Scott recalled he asked Kelly Campbell about his suspicions that Jay Campbell was using drugs. She originally told you, no, 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 God, no, Patrick Benkin, an attorney for Jay Campbell, said while cross-examining Scott, which Patrick Benkin, I'll point out, is one of the West Memphis 3 attorneys. Then you told her you were going to take a break for a few days. She didn't want that to happen. Right, Scott said. She was desperate to see you, Benkin stated. I believe she was, Scott said. Eventually, Scott said Kelly Campbell changed her story and told him that her husband had used drugs. Scott said he asked for proof. You threatened the relationship again if she didn't get you something, Benkin asked. Yes, Scott replied. Earlier in the trial, jurors heard testimony about a drinking straw. This is what put Jay and Kelly Campbell away. Anthony Shane Scott's responsible for this. Not to mention he was screwing Jay Campbell's wife. Okay. Earlier in the trial, jurors took her testimony about a drinking straw found among Scott's possessions at the jail. The straw, which was melted on one end and found to contain drug residue, bore DNA evidence traced to Kelly Campbell, as well as DNA from a second source. Jay Campbell cannot be excluded as a source of the second DNA sample, according to testimony of a state crime laboratory forensic examiner. During his cross-examination, Binka played audio recordings of several phone conversations between Scott and Kelly Campbell after Scott was returned to state prison. The two are heard discussing an Arkansas police investigation of Lone Oak participation in the Act 309 program. Kelly Campbell tells Scott she believed investigators were trying to get to her husband through her. He don't ever do anything, but they get me, she said on the recording. He don't ever do anything. He's a murderer. He murdered Kevin Hobbs and Don Henry. I'm the only way they can get him. In other conversations, Scott told Kelly Campbell that investigators were asking questions about their relationship. They want to arrest you, he told her. For doing what, she asked. They have a law that says if you have sex with somebody that has power over you, it is some kind of rape charge, Scott said. Oh my gosh, Kelly Campbell said. I can't get arrested. During his cross-examination, Mark Hampton, an attorney for Kelly Campbell, he's a high-power lawyer, painted Scott as a liar. You told the jury that most of what you told Miss Campbell about your family were lies, Hampton said. Yes, sir, Scott said. Hampton listed several falsehoods one by one and wrote them on a poster board. We're now up to about 8 lies that you've admitted to, he said during the first 10 minutes of his cross-examination. The attorney continued to list lies over the next few hours. Hampton asked Scott why he continued to contact Kelly Campbell after being returned to prison if he didn't love her and didn't want anything to do with her. Charles McElmore told me that is what I needed to do, Scott said, referring to the state police officer who was investigating the Act 309 program in Lone Oak. You agree? I'm just double checking to make sure everybody's there. Yeah, the DOJ definitely needs to be notified of this matter. You agree he was trying to get Miss Campbell to admit criminal acts, Hampton said. That's right, Scott said. Hampton had Scott examine transcripts of 7 taped interviews between Scott and various investigators from August 2005 through July 2006. The attorney pointed out that it wasn't until the final interview that Scott made most of his allegations about Kelly Campbell providing him prohibited items such as a cell phone, a urine flushing drink to mask evidence of drug use, alcohol, or money. Would you agree with me that from August 2005 through 6 interviews, Mr. Michaelmore really wanted to know also about contraband items being brought in the jail? He wanted to know about drug use, Hampton asked. Yes, Scott. Hampton always asked about new allegations that surfaced during Scott's testimony. Monday, including that Kelly Campbell had given him $240 and he saw her and a friend with a quart-sized bottle of codeine or prescription cold medicine. That begs the question, why didn't you remember all that through 7 interviews, Hampton asked. I don't know, Scott said. Cross-examination of Scott is expected to resume Wednesday. Court will be in recess today. Trial moved from Cabot District Court to the Cabot City Council chambers where it reconvenes at 9 a.m. Wednesday, and that was March 30th, 2007. Okay, so just so we're clear. Okay, good. Everybody's still here. Just so we're clear, are we all in agreement that Anthony Shane Scott put Jay and Kelly Campbell behind bars and that Kelly Campbell was having a sexual relationship with Anthony Shane Scott? I just looked on YouTube. There's no notification of the live stream. Of course, there's no notification. YouTube messes with me. They don't want this information out there. Okay. So we got that. Now, okay, Anthony Shane Scott was 46 years old. He went missing on 11 p.m. Wednesday, December the 4th. But the last 911 phone call, or the 5th, I got that confused. The last 911 phone call, he made one at 11 p.m. and then one at 5 a.m. Now, I have one of the 911 phone calls. The family has FOIA'd the other 911 calls, and they're refusing, which is against the law. Need to get Jimmy Cabin on that. They're refusing to release that last 911 call. I also have his daughter's, the messages that he left for his daughter. Looks like a few trolls have left. Have we had trolls? Donald? If so, what were they saying? Love trolls. I mean, we ban them. We're not Jerry Springer here. We're not doing all that. Um, 3 people left live stream. Okay. Let's go to, and the story is he got out of prison less than a year ago, went to a halfway house. So allegedly, if Jay Campbell did a revenge kill on him, you think, well, this happened in 2007. Why 2024? Well, he just got out of prison and then was in a halfway house for 6 months. He was out of prison for 4 months. He was doing good. He was on parole. He was always in check. He was bettering himself. To my knowledge, he was, I want to say, getting a CDL. He was getting ready to drive a truck. Minded his own P's and Q's. I mean, no problems out of the guy. He served his time and he was trying to start his life over. Okay. Um, let's see. He was dead within 4 to 5 months of the time he got out of the halfway house. Now, Kevin Bell, Sheriff Kevin Bell. He lied. Let me find the. Okay. Somebody changed their name. They're outlaw. Okay. Kevin Bell, his initial Facebook post was December 6th. Now remember, he went missing on the 5th. Why are we waiting a day? It says, please share, missing from Randolph County. Anthony Scott had called 911 during the call. Anthony was confused and wasn't sure of his location. He wasn't confused. He just wasn't sure of his location. And when you hear these 911 calls and you hear the messages he left to his daughter, he's saying, I want this on record. I mean, he knows that somebody's out to kill him, and it was the cops. Anyway, missing from Randolph County. Anthony Scott had called 911 during the night. During the call, Anthony was confused and wasn't sure of his location. Call pinged in the Pocahontas area. Responders were unable to locate Anthony. Well, I don't know how. He's got his parole thing on. He can be pinged anywhere. Okay. Remember that. He's got his parole ankle bracelet on. They can find him anywhere. They were unable to locate Anthony. This is all made up. And this is what Kevin Bell reported to KIT 8 News. Okay, this was all over the news. Anthony has schizophrenia and has not been taking his medication for an unspecified amount of time. We're still searching the areas for his last approximate location. We are concerned about his welfare. If you see him, give the SOA a call. And that's him. That's Anthony Scott Bell. Anthony Shane Scott. Sorry. We got Kevin Bell, the dirty sheriff, on my mind. Now we skip forward. That was December 6th. We skip forward to the 12th. Now, he was found 5 days later, okay, in the woods, dead. Press release today at approximately 2:30. And remember, he completely made up the schizophrenic lie, he's off his meds. His family, I've talked closely with his family and his friends, and never has he been on schizophrenic medication or schizophrenic. First off, he was the key witness in the Lonoke County trial against Jay Campbell and Kelly Campbell. Do you think Lana McCaslin would put a schizophrenic up there? I mean, he was her case. He was the one who took them down. Why would there's no way. There's no way they're putting a schizophrenic up there to testify. And what a disaster, right? Yeah, and if he had taken off his ankle bracelet, alarms can be can be would be screaming, and Donald says they can find him instantly. Yes, they can. Yes, they can. So, December 12th, press release. Today at approximately 2:30 p.m., deputies located a body that we believe to be that of our missing adult male Anthony Shane Scott. Sequence of events. On Wednesday, December 4th at 11:35 p.m., Scott had called 911 from a cellular phone and stated that there was a man and a female arguing in his backyard at an address in downtown Pocahontas. No, there was cops arguing in his yard over who was going to shoot him. That's what happened. Pocahontas police were dispatched and were on the scene in approximately 4 minutes and were not able to locate Scott or anything unusual. At approximately 5:07 a.m. on December 5th, Scott again called 911 from the same phone that pinged at Newberry. It's pinging. The phone's pinging at Newberry and Winter Road. This time, Scott stated that he was being, quote, trapped by the sheriff's office, because he was, and then he needed help. Scott stated that he was going to a friend's house and he got turned around and ended up in a creek. Dispatch lost contact with him and the phone lost service, and we were unable to gain any further information. Here we go with the setup of this is how he died. Temperatures at that time were below freezing. We've seen this before. I'm not going to mention the case, but we've seen this before. The Randolph County Sheriff's Office coordinated a massive search of the area for several days. The Pocahontas Fire Department, ProMed Ambulance, Arkansas Game and Fish, Arkansas State Police, Jonesboro Police Department, and numerous volunteers and residents combed the area by foot, ATV, dog tracking teams, cadaver dog teams, high-tech drones, aircrafts, and boats. Other investigative resources included the Morgan Nick Foundation, U.S. Marshal Service, and several other resources. Today at approximately 2:30 p.m., Mr. Scott was found deceased approximately 1 mile from the original phone ping area. We do believe, here we go, that the freezing temperatures will be a contributing factor. Mr. Scott was in a remote area grown up with tall grass and underbrush. Mr. Scott's body has been sent to the Arkansas Crime Lab in Little Rock to determine the cause of death. And then they show, we would like to thank all those who assisted with the investigations. Our thoughts and prayers are with his family and friends. Now, let's go back to another lie. Facts. He says the Randolph County Sheriff's Office coordinated a massive search of the area for several days. The Pocahontas Fire Department, ProMed Ambulance, Arkansas Game and Fish, Arkansas State Police, Jonesboro Police Department, and numerous volunteers. Bull crap. Bull crap. I've talked to everybody on the ground there that was on the ground there. Lies. They did not coordinate a massive search. In fact, they quit searching. They quit searching. And I've got the call where the girl's calling saying, we need dogs of the South that came up from Mississippi to try to find him. The Randolph County Sheriff's Department did not coordinate a massive search. That's me ad-libbing. The Pocahontas Fire Department was never there. ProMed Ambulance was never there. Arkansas Game and Fish, well, it was 2 game and fish officers that supposedly found him after the 5th or 6th day. But they were not there. Arkansas State Police was not there. Jonesboro Police Department were not there. The only thing he got right was numerous volunteers and residents combed the area by foot, ATV, dog tracking teams, cadaver dogs, high-tech drones, aircraft, and boats. There were no aircraft. There were no boats. And then other investigative resources, including the Morgan Nick Foundation, U.S. Marshal Service, several other resources. So Kevin Bell's a liar. Now, I commented on Kevin Bell, and he hasn't blocked me yet. I don't know if he's seen the comment, but I wrote under, he turned the comments off on one of them, but the other one he didn't. The other post he didn't. So I said, so how did he die? No way he quotes succumbed to the cold weather, as Sheriff Kevin Bell has indicated in his second post about Anthony Shane Scott. It was not even that cold during the time he went missing. I've heard one of his 911 calls, as well as all voicemails he left his daughter that night. And he didn't say on the 911 call, nor in his voicemails to his daughter, that, quote, a man and woman were arguing outside his home. What he said was that it was the chief of police and a female duty arguing outside his home over who was going to kill him. And he was also absolutely not schizophrenic and off his meds. That was a blatant lie about him made up by you. He testified against Jay Campbell, former disgraced and criminal police chief of Lone Oak, and Kelly Campbell, Jay Campbell's wife, back in 2007. And it was Anthony Shane Scott's testimony that sent Jay and Kelly Campbell to prison. There's no way a schizophrenic, as you claim Scott was, would have been put on the witness stand by the prosecution back then as the key witness that put the Campbells behind bars. Sheriff Bell has literally just made up the schizophrenic lie about him. Those are facts. This is a cover-up, and I intend to get to the bottom of all of it. Shane Anthony Scott was murdered early that morning from the night he went missing. Also, I should note, in both the 911 calls made and the 3 voicemails he left his daughter during the time he was running for his life and missing, Anthony Shane Scott was calm, cool, and collective, and was more than obviously in his right mind. You also have refused to release the other 911 calls Scott made that night, which falls under the Freedom of Information Act. Even though the family made a FOIA request, FOI request for said 911 call, you are breaking FOIA laws by refusing to release this call to the family for whom formally and legally requested it. What are you hiding, Sheriff Bell? I intend to find out. Okay. Sounds suspicious so far? Everything is going good today. Debbie Arthur, just getting hope. Hope you can finish. Was so disappointed last night. Yeah. And Donald Strickland, if you have a Percocet in your system, you cannot get a CDL. Yeah, he was drug free. He was getting drug tested constantly. He was on parole. Let's see here. Everything's going well so far. So, trying to think if I'm missing anything. I know that Sheriff Campbell lied through his teeth about everything. And people were griping and complaining, like, where's the update? Where's the update? 6 days later, he was found around the 11th or 12th. That's when Sheriff Bell put out that notice and insinuated more than once that he may have succumbed to the weather. Bull crap. What happened was Scott was at his minding his own business in his own trailer, heard two female, and he talks about the chief of police out there arguing over who was going to shoot him, and he knows they're going to kill him. He slips out the back door and just starts running, and that's how he ends up getting lost. And he talks about on his 911 calls that they're tracking me. So we're going to play. I think I'm going to play the
power on.
Let me get this set up. I can't believe we're on here. I want to play 911 call first, or let me play the messages to his daughter. He says, this is the craziest thing you've ever seen. Give me just a second to find them. I've got them. Okay, let me get my Bluetooth on. I don't know what happened last night, but what a mess.
Bluetooth connected.
All right, y'all gotta let me know if you can hear this well. I'm gonna set it right here. Now, this is his messages to his daughter in between 911 phone calls.
It's me. If I don't make it through this, I love you. I don't know what's going on. They stay right there with me, but they keep pushing me and pushing me. I want to stop, but I think they're going to put the dog on me. So I don't know what my rights are. I don't know. I've never seen anything like this. They're just going to push me until I die, I guess. I'll probably walk 12 miles. Just keep this voicemail, keep this record.
He knows he's
and
gonna
call. No, you don't call nobody. You just keep the record. I love you.
The rest of him's just stomping through the woods. Okay, here's the next message he leaves his daughter.
Plus, this your daddy. Yeah, bad deal. I don't know what's going on, but we got something to eat last night when I got back sitting in my room. I could hear cops outside yelling at each other. Man and woman. I didn't know it was cops at first, but so I called the police department. They drove by, so I was like, that was weird. And then they caught the people next door smoking weed on the drug bust. So it's just, and then the young cops started searching all the buildings, and it's all bad. I love you. And the kids, this is the craziest shit you've ever seen in your life. I'm right here. You got this voice now. Guys, I'm trying to surrender. I don't walk me all the way out of town. I got dogs on me. They just stay off at a pace. And I tried to surrender. I tried to talk to the supervisor. Fell down the ravine. It's just so dark out here. They're just staying with me. Oh, I love you. But call Randolph County Sheriff's Department. Ask to speak to the sheriff. Let them hear this. Let the sheriff and the city attorney hear this voice. Medical attention.
He knows he's going to die. He knows they're after him. Now, the 911 call.
The whole thing, please. 911, where's your emergency?
Yes, ma'am.
911.
I know. Hey, help.
Okay, what's going on? Hello?
I'm being tracked by the Randolph County Sheriff's Department.
You're being what?
I'm being tracked by Randolph County Sheriff's Department.
Okay.
Okay. I don't know, but I don't know this area, and I'm in the swamp.
You're
Yes,
in the swamp?
I'm in Randolph County.
Okay.
These cops are really pissed at me.
What's your name?
Anthony Scott.
Anthony Scott?
Yes, ma'am.
Didn't I just
talk to you? Yes, other than that.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay.
All of this is ongoing from that situation there. So I just started after, I guess it was the chief of police and female detective or whoever, but they were arguing out in the yard. That's why I called y'all, but I thought it was just a couple out there. But long story short, I don't know, they didn't detain me, they didn't arrest me, but when I left my house, they continue to follow me. And I know this sounds crazy, but give the sheriff a call.
Why do you need the sheriff? Why do you need...
Why did it cut off? Let me try this other one. It's not a clean version, but it's.
Can you hear all the voicemails he left? Not the whole one. He didn't hear the whole ones. I told you I only had that little piece of it. Me and I was analyzing. The whole thing, please.
911, where's your emergency?
What, ma'am?
No.
I know. I can't help.
Hello?
Being tracked by the Randolph County Sheriff's Department.
You're being what?
I'm being tracked by Randolph County.
Okay.
Okay. I don't know, but I don't know this area, and I'm in the swamp.
You're in the swamp?
I'm in Randolph County.
Okay.
The cops are really pissed at me.
What's your name?
Anthony Scott.
Anthony Scott? Didn't I just talk to you?
Yes, other than that.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay.
All this is ongoing from that situation there. So I just started after, I guess it was the chief of police and female detective or whoever, but they were arguing out in the yard. That's why I called y'all, but I thought it was just a couple out there. But long story short, I don't know, they didn't detain me, they didn't arrest me, but when I left my house, they continued to follow me. And I know this sounds crazy, but give the sheriff a call.
Why do you need the sheriff? Why do you need the sheriff to be called?
Well, I'm in bad medical need right now.
You're in a medical need. Do you know where you're at, Anthony?
I know I'm soaking wet.
Okay. Can you move for me just a little bit? Because I got to get where you're at. Hey, Anthony? I don't know where you're at.
There's 4 different tractors, 2 different dogs that are right here. So, one phone call.
Okay, you're going to, okay, Anthony, you're going to do 1 second, okay, man? I got to get to where you're at, okay?
Well, I just want to, on record, this on this, they want to shoot me.
No, they don't. Okay, well, stay on the line. I got to get somebody headed your way. Hang on, okay? Just stay on the, you're hurt? What happened?
Yeah, I fell down the ravine.
You said? Continue to push you?
I know it sounds crazy, but
No, you're good.
I have to self-surrender, and it's nothing.
Okay, Anthony. All right. You still with me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right.
My battery's about dead.
You're fine. I got you. Listen. I need you to calm down now. Okay?
He's calm.
I want to help you. You just got to give me a second, okay? Hang on.
I guess they ain't gonna shoot me.
Anthony, they're not going to shoot you, man.
In the head.
Listen, friend.
That's no part of the game, but
No, we're not going to shoot you. They're not going to shoot
all
you.
it's done is made me run. It's all it's done.
Okay. Well, they're not going to shoot you, man.
I know, because I'm unarmed.
You're unarmed? You have no weapon?
No weapon.
No weapon.
Self-surrender over me?
Okay, give me 1 second, okay? Are you suicidal, Anthony?
No, ma'am. I don't live.
Okay, you want to live? Okay, hang on, Anthony, okay? 1 second.
I'm gonna be great. His daughter's kids.
Who just says hold on? That's it. What's on? Hold on.
I'm sorry I got y'all out here in the shit. I don't know where it's coming at.
It's not the clean version, so that's why you hear baby. It's a recording of a recording.
Anthony, are you in a boat? No. Where are you at? I got you. Are you on Newberry? How's you on Newberry Road?
I don't know.
You don't know? Okay.
See, they know where he is.
But look outside of town.
Okay.
And I was walking through the
You're walking to his house? Okay.
I just wondering.
Okay, so you're needing help to get out of the road? I mean, out of the lake? Are you in a river?
Well, it's just a long way out here.
Okay, well,
I just wanted this all up because I seriously, I'm pretty sure you got to
okay, well, I'm sending a deputy to you. Okay. Okay, I need, is there any way you can walk out of the little creek? I need you to walk for me so I can get a deputy to you.
Okay.
Okay, I need you to walk so I can get.
And that's the end.
Hey, back up for 30 seconds right there. What did he say whenever she was like trying to fucking confuse him?
He said, I'm pretty sure. He said, I just want this on record because I'm pretty sure that
Pretty sure they're gonna shoot me.
You got a gun and shit. They didn't let nobody hear that for 30 fucking days. That was cute. That was key evidence about where he was at. He said, I'm not scared. And he said, how'd you go live there?
What's this, your daddy? Well, bad deal. Don't know what's going on. We got something last time. I got my room. I can hear cops outside yelling at each other. Man and woman. I didn't know it was cops at first, but so I called the police department. They drove by, so I was like, that was weird. And then they caught the people next door smoking weed on the drug bust. So it's just, and then so young cops started searching all the buildings. And it's all bad. I love you.
These are his messages to his
It's the
daughter.
craziest shit you've ever seen in your life. I'm right here. You got this voice now. Guys, I'm trying to surrender. I'm walking all the way out of town. They got dogs on me. They just stay off at a pace. And I tried to surrender. I tried to talk to the supervisor. So down the ravine. It's just so dark out here. They're just staying with me. So I love you. Call Randolph County Sheriff's Department. Ask to speak to the sheriff. Let them hear this. Let the sheriff and the city attorney hear this voice. Medical attention.
Get medical attention on something.
It's me. If I don't make it through, I love you. They just, I don't know what's going on. They're with me, but they keep pushing me and pushing me. I want to stop, but I think they're gonna put the dog on me. I don't know what my rights are. I don't know. I've never seen anything like this. They're just gonna push me until I die, I guess. I probably walk 12 miles. Just keep this voicemail, keep this record, and call. You don't call nobody, you just keep it record.
What the lady said, the first person lady said, around frozen back where they found him at, all that ground back there, so it's like it functions. Frozen ground functions, the field back there. Right around at night. This is what it's like when they go through it. Why would it say 70 times?
Looks like I'm going to jail, buddy. I don't know what they got going on. Cops out there yelling at each other. So our man and woman was, I don't know. But anyway, I want to come over here. Get this place locked up. You didn't have a car, why are you leaving yet?
Gas company offered for some reason. That's odd. Because he had money, didn't he?
Yeah.
It starts over. So, hey, Brianna. So far, like I said, I wasn't able to give a heads up on this one because I was trying to trick YouTube into letting me finish my podcast. Anybody's thoughts on that in chat? Please chime in. No, I have a lot of people in chat because I wasn't able to advertise the video. So let's go over Kevin Bell's press release from December 12th. Crooked cops in Randolph County. That's right. That's right. I mean, the guy knew he was going to die, and the cops he reiterated over and over, the cops are going to get him. They're going to get him. They got the dogs on him. And all he was doing, he went and got something to eat, brought it back to his place, and then heard cops, chief of police, he names, outside arguing with a woman cop over who's going to shoot who, or shoot him. Let's see. Kevin Bell. Today at approximately 2:30 p.m., deputies located a body that we believe to be that of our missing adult male Anthony Scott. Sequence of events on Wednesday, December 4th, 11:35. Scott had called 911 from a cellular phone. Now we're missing the other 911 call. They won't release it. And stated that there was a man and a female arguing in his backyard in an address in downtown Pocahontas. This goes with everything that he just said in his 911 calls and his messages to his daughter. They were dispatched on the scene approximately 4 minutes when they were unable to locate Scott or Anthony. Anything unusual at approximately 5:07 a.m. on December 5th. Scott again called 911 from the numerous shit. Hold on. My stuff messed up. And then we go on. Temperatures at that time were below freezing. The Randolph County Sheriff's Office coordinated a massive search of the area for several days. Pocahontas Fire Department, ProMed Ambulance, Arkansas Game and Fish, Arkansas State Police, Jonesboro, all lies. None of them helped. In fact, I've got a 911 call from one of the friends where she's trying to get dogs to the south. But they didn't search. They didn't search, and this proves it.
What's their phone number? And what's the contact name?
Oh, for Dogs of the South? Right here. I give it to you.
That's the family.
It's 901.
No.
481
481
0656.
0656. And who's the person to talk to?
What was her name?
Pauline, I believe.
Pauline.
Pauline?
Yes, ma'am.
Anybody there? Just the phone.
Pauline?
Mm-hmm.
Family
Okay.
life business.
All right. I will send this to our sheriff.
Hey, and
I'm sure.
my number is 870.
Blah, 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 blah. I don't want her number on there.
Okay, and what other number was you wanting to give me?
I want to give you my number, so in case there's some.
Okay, Ashley Hines.
Yeah, yes, sir. Yes, ma'am.
Ashley Hines. What's your number?
It's
Blah,
870.
blah, 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 blah,
0527.
blah. Don't want her phone number on there.
I'm assuming probably what they've done is they've got the dogs that we normally do on missing person like that and just took off with that.
Well, no, I know, but what I did is I talked to the man that ran the dogs that before I left. He told me that they're from R9 Canine. They're from Joplin, Missouri. They don't work like cadaver dogs work, like we probably need by now, and they don't work like scent dogs work. They work off a human scent all alone. So anybody's human scent would be tracked at that point. He said that he was hoping that after we left the area, our scent would dissipate and maybe his would still be out there, but that was not the case, being that he was soaking wet when he called 911. So we obviously need a cadaver dog or a good scent dog. These people have that, and we would like to bring them out to find our missing relative because he hasn't not turned up anywhere else, so he has to be out there.
which goes against Kevin Bell's. Oh, we pulled out all the stalls.
Well, I mean, other than the fact that we've been threatened by the landowners out there, so I mean, I think we need the cops to go back out there with us. Yes, ma'am. Ricky Martin, the
Hey,
man
Regina.
that is at Winter Road at the top where the picture was taken of Shane or Anthony. He threatened us. He threatened us yesterday and told us to not come back.
Well, I don't know. You say it's Rick Martin?
Yeah, and so I figured we probably need the cops to go back with us.
Well, let's think so, but I mean, if we're still looking for him.
Yes, ma'am.
You know, I don't know. I mean, I don't know what's going on. I don't know what y'all got going. I'm just working.
Hey, all what we got going is we got a missing relative, and we're desperately trying to find him like any other family would.
Okay, well, I mean, what I'm talking about, I know he's missing, and I sure hope he finds him alive. But, you know, I don't know what they found out, or where they've been, or who said what.
Right. That's why we want the
I can't
cops.
tell you anything.
That's why we need y'all to coordinate with these people with the dogs so they can find him, whether it's a scent dog or a cadaver dog, whether we're looking for him dead or alive, we're going to find him.
Right.
He's
And
over
Rick
it.
Martin won't let you go out there.
No, ma'am. No, ma'am. And we was just as nice
You
as.
know, yesterday.
Yes, ma'am.
Well, what I mean, no, I can't. Anyway, I will relate this to the sheriff's department and tell him y'all are wanting to go out there and Rick Martin won't let you.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
But, you know, if it's his property, then.
Matter of fact, he threatened us, you know.
Well, did you call him beforehand before you went out there?
We don't have any phone numbers for the guy. We just went up there as politely as we could and politely asked, you know, could we take a look around because of everything, you know, going on. We would like to continue to look for him.
Right.
And that being the last for sure known place that, you know, he was on camera at. I mean, we was as nice as could be, and he come out there very aggressive towards us.
Okay. And the only thing I can do is just tell you we'll go from here.
All right, I thank you so much, ma'am.
You're welcome.
Mhm.
Okay. What's their phone number? And what's the contact name?
Oh, for dogs and stuff?
Okay. What do we think about all this? Regina and Friends Crime Chat. Regina's the one who put me on this case. And lo and behold, linked to Jay Campbell. She says they pulled off the search over a Facebook post. An unverified Facebook post on Friday when we were searching for Anthony. Regina, can you elaborate on that? Because I'm trying to remember. There's so much to remember about this case. Wasn't it a fake Facebook post where somebody put it up that he had been found when he had not? Regina, would you like to call in? Let's see. Nobody that said he was found except the Facebook post. Regina, if I call you, would you, because you can elaborate, you were there. I've got your phone number. I'll call you right now. Okay. We're going to call Regina.
Hi, JoJo.
Hey, Regina. How are you?
I'm doing good. It's my birthday, so.
Oh, happy birthday. Everybody say happy birthday to Regina.
Oh, thank you. Yeah.
The things I've left out that are important, because you were there on the ground, and obviously I've had my hands full on trying to keep up with all this case, and
right.
hopefully have done a good service towards Scott or Shane.
You're doing fantastic, JoJo. I appreciate what you do so much.
Thank you. But yeah, fill in the gaps. You were there. You can start at the beginning.
Mm-hmm. So I got a call at, well, first of all, let me tell you a little bit about my organization so you know who we are, of course. I am part of the Arkansas Angels Search and Rescue Team. I am the public relations person. I'm the person that gets in touch with police initially and asks about the case and see if it's something that our team is able to even help with to begin with. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because they don't need search and rescue in every case.
Right.
So I called and verified everything with an Officer Weisenbach at the Randolph County Sheriff's Department. He's a detective. And I put him in touch with my captain, Brandy Stearns.
Uh-huh.
And we arranged to come up there on Friday. As you know, that was, we got the call. I got the call like, it was late Thursday night. I'm wanting to say like 3 o'clock in the morning on Friday, 2 o'clock in the morning on Friday, when Ashley called and said, hey, you know, we got a loved one out here that is lost in these woods and they're not doing anything. We need people to come help search.
Right.
So we
the cops haven't been doing anything.
Right. The family and friends were out there searching themselves everywhere that they were allowed to search. They were out there in the it was freezing cold. I mean, it was very, very, it was bitter cold. And they spent all night Thursday searching for him. And they seen that the police weren't bringing people in like they should have to help search for him.
Right. So Kevin Bell's statement where they pulled out all the stops and they had ambulances and they had, that's all BS, correct?
I never saw anything like that.
Okay.
I think in total, aside from our search team, there were like maybe 8, 9 cops that were county, I do believe.
Uh-huh.
And the family members. That's who, and the friends of Anthony. That's who was there searching. The first day they had a search an area where they told us his phone had last pinged. And we now realize from listening to the 911 call, that's not true.
Oh, wow.
Because where Anthony was found in the swamp, that would be Shallow Bog Lake. Okay. It's called a lake, but it's not a lake. And oddly enough, it is the only actual swamp area in that entire area that it was within a 1.5 mile radius that could even be considered swamp. Okay.
Yeah.
And come to find out, we were also lied to about what time his last 911 call was. Let me explain it to you like this. They told us the 911 call was at about, I think it was either 5:06, 5:09, something like that. Mm-hmm. Is what they told us. It was the very few first minutes after 5 o'clock that he had called 911. That was what we were told the last 911 call was.
Yeah.
But if you listen to the 911 video, the 911 call, you hear him talk about being in the swamp.
Yeah.
That was where he was found. Now, they told us that at 5, I think it was 5:21 or 5:29, something like that. I have to pull my notes up and look at the timeline. But Anthony was seen on a trail cam in front of Mr. Martin's property.
Okay.
they told us that the footage of him was after the 911 call. Well, that's impossible because Anthony was in the swamp. If you listen to the 911 call, telling him he's wet and he's in the swamp.
Gotcha.
And that was after he was seen on camera at Rick Martin's, which means the 911 call, they lied to us about the time of it.
Right. And the 911 call they won't release, is that the first 911 call?
Yes, that he made, because if you listen to it, I know you listened to the calls.
Sure.
In those calls, he had, in the 911 call, there was apparently some kind of drug raid over some weed or a cop fighting in the driveway. But if you'll also notice in the 911 calls, whenever the 911 callers, the 911 operator's like, "Are you the one I talked to earlier?" And he's like, "Yeah," over that whole thing. And he had just got done talking about the female cop and the sheriff, right? The sheriff's deputy or whatever. She didn't deny any of that.
Right.
I just find it so odd that they pulled us. Okay, after we got up there and started searching, Mr. Weisenbach had what he called the command center, which was basically a few sheriff deputies and cops sitting in their vehicles parked on the road.
Right.
And they put us in the back of a truck and they dropped us off on Winters Road, and they moved us at the north side of the property from right there on the corner of Winters Road and I think it's Newberry.
Newberry, yeah.
Yeah. And the thing was, Anthony was a mile from where they told us the phone pinged. He was past where he was last seen on video, and he was in the swamp when he was found. That's the only real swampy area around there.
Sure.
Which, if you think about it, tells us that 911 call he made, the 911 call that they played for Chelsea, had to have been later than 5 o'clock or 5:09, because it was after he was seen on video.
Yeah. And Chelsea's his daughter, by the way, everyone. That's who you heard the audio on where he's leaving messages, saying, "If I don't make it out of this, I love you. That they got the dogs on me. They're trying to kill me."
Yes, that's his daughter. But here's the weird part. We're out there searching. We're doing, the stereotypical grid search, right? We see one plane flying over, but to me, it looks like, the kind of airplanes that spray the cotton fields and stuff. If you're from a rural area, yeah, you know what I'm talking about. It was one of those type of planes, but they told, and he was flying kind of low, and they told us, well, they're doing an aerial search for him. And they said that they had already searched 1,000 square acres with a drone.
Oh.
And they told us they had dogs coming in and everything else. Well, we did the search from west to east, a grid search, and we were spread out like maybe a quarter to half a mile.
Yeah.
The volunteers were. And, there's probably a good, 30, 40 yards between us.
Right.
And we searched the entire from west to east property they wanted us to search. And then they start pushing us from north to south towards Mr. Martin's property, right?
Right.
Which is where Anthony was found. And the thing is whenever the closer we got to the south side of the property, back towards Horseshoe Lake, the cops started talking. Like they were, pausing and taking breaks and talking, going away from the group and talking on the radios. And then all of a sudden, we watched, the cops start taking Ashley and, the other family members and friends that are on the backside of a little lake called Horseshoe Lake. They gathered them up and they, get my chief and, our volunteers and put them back with us. And they removed the people that actually knew Anthony from the entire area.
Wow.
Okay. And we searched one more small section. It was probably like, I don't know, maybe 100 yards, more of a grid search towards the south. And we hit the river, but there's like this big bridgeway that goes over the river and stuff, But they don't even let us get to the river, which would have been on our left side when we were pushing south. And they told us, we were like, well, are we going to search, all the way back to the south side of the property? And they said, well, we've got wildlife management back there searching, because that's really, really hard terrain. And I'm like, that's what we do,
Yeah.
But I didn't say that, but I'm sitting there thinking that's literally, this is like what we do. We're used to this, they give us the hard terrain. It's,
Yeah.
Every search is, in sorts and adventure and terrain and stuff. You learn new things. But anyway, so they they push us another 100 yards south, and then they pull our team together, and they start talking amongst themselves like, yeah, it's really messed up that the family knows that he's been found, and they've still got y'all out here searching like idiots.
Oh,
and we're like, what? And Officer Bell, Kevin Bell,
Sheriff Kevin Bell,
takes out his phone and shows us a Facebook message that Anthony had been found from a chick named Ashley Hart Spence. Well, Ashley Hart Spence is kin to people in Leachville, Arkansas, and there's a whole big thing going on with a case down there I'm not even going to talk about, but that's beside the point. But Anthony, and we're like, oh, he's been found good, this, that, and the other. And so they pull us off the search because of a Facebook post of someone that didn't even know Anthony.
Wow. A fake
and
Facebook post.
Right. They tell us it's really crappy that they know he's been found and y'all are still out here searching for him, knowing dang good and well he's found. And then they told us that he was schizophrenic. And then they told us that he had jumped his parole, which come to find out was completely a lie.
Yeah.
They told us that he was running from police because he was jumping his parole.
Lies. All lies.
All lies. Absolutely all lies. Only I didn't know it was lies at the time. I had no reason to mistrust law enforcement. You know what I mean?
Sure.
So I get a call. I think Anthony's been found, and I'm feeling pretty good about it. You know what I mean? And then Ashley gets back in touch with me, and she's like, are y'all coming back out to search? And I was like, what? She's like, to come help search for Anthony. And I'm like, I thought he was found. And she was like, no, he has not been found. We cannot find him.
Wow.
And she's like, I even have a search dog team that has been trying to get in all weekend to help search for Anthony.
And just to interrupt, you had Sheriff Kevin Bell confirm he'd been found.
That's what he told the search and rescue team. That's why they pulled us off the search Friday.
Unbelievable.
Because they said he had been found over a Facebook post. Yes, ma'am.
Over a random Facebook post. Wow.
A random Facebook post. Not
a post from the actual sheriff himself, but a random Facebook. Wow.
Yes. And so Ashley tells me that she has search dog Stout that has been on call all weekend to come in and help look for Anthony. So I start calling the sheriff's department to get a hold of Officer Weisenbach, because he was the officer that set up the initial searches, right? We all met up at the fire department, this, that, and the other.
Yeah.
And, but it was just my team and a few police officers and some fire. It was not the massive search operation that he makes it out to be by any means.
By any means.
None whatsoever.
Well, in fact, they quit searching.
Yes, they had quit searching for him over a Facebook post.
Yeah.
So Ashley gets a hold of me and the Search Dog South. And there's another girl that was supposed to be part of our team that is involved in all the drama out of the Leachville case.
Uh-huh.
That was the one that had gotten in touch with Miss Paulette from Search Dog South, right?
Yeah.
And the thing is she never followed up with Miss Paulette, never told our team that they were coming. As a matter of fact, she went on our Google chat and said, Search Dog South is not coming. They're over 3 hours away. Do y'all know any other dog handlers? Well, that was on Friday while we were searching. She posted that.
Yeah.
So we come back in, you know, after searching all day Friday, and we got messages that there's no dog team coming. But at this point, we've already thought he's been found because they pulled us off over the Facebook post.
Yeah.
And then, you know, just to find out that post was a lie by her name, I think it's Christy Hunter.
Uh-huh.
That post was a lie. Anthony had not been found, and Search Dog South had been waiting all weekend to get in there. And then we find messages. We're sent messages where Christy Hunter knows Kevin Bell, talking about what a good man he is. And it was just like, what is even going on here? You know, during the 72-hour critical period that Anthony had a chance for survival,
yeah,
they played games.
Yeah. And no way did he succumb to the weather. I mean, it was clear he was murdered.
I'm going to tell you right now, I went to his services. I went to his services out of respect. Because let me tell you what, he has such a beautiful daughter that is such a strong woman. And he has some people, let me tell you what, that love him. More about him.
Yeah.
And I couldn't understand why they would pull the search team off of the Facebook search, especially since they told Region 8 News that he was schizophrenic.
Yeah, all lies, made up. He was not schizophrenic. It's like we talked about. No way would he have been able to testify in the Jay and Kelly Campbell trial in Lone Oak if he was schizophrenic.
Bing bong, because his testimony would not be
reliable.
What's the word? Credible.
Yeah.
People that have schizophrenia hear voices and all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
I had a friend that was schizophrenic. He died on my birthday 13 years ago because his voices kept telling him he had taken his medication. He hadn't taken his medication.
Yeah.
And sorry, that just it birthdays are hard for me because of that. But back to Anthony, he didn't look right. He looked like he had been beat up.
Right. Didn't he have scratches and like his nose broke or?
To me, yes, ma'am. It looked like his nose had been broken.
Yeah.
And his jaw, which, and I'm not trying to be morbid, but when you're doing mortician work, sometimes you have to break a jaw to get the mouth to close, you know, after post-mortem, or wire the mouth shut even. And that's one thing that they do. But this was different. He was swollen in places he shouldn't have had swelling, in my opinion.
Yeah.
He didn't even look like the man in the photo.
Unbelievable.
They had dyed his facial hair.
That is so wild to me.
But let me tell you what, I didn't know anything about Anthony, and I was like, why? What makes someone so horrible that the cops are just going to be like, oh, well, he's found this posted on Facebook. We ain't going to search for him no more.
Yeah.
And then to find out that they lied about him being schizophrenic and everything, I was like, well, who is Anthony? Why would they do this?
Yeah.
So I messaged Ashley and I'm like, Ashley, who is the Anthony? And she was like, oh, you don't know who he is? And I'm like, no. And she's like, go look up Jay Campbell and the prisoner that put him in prison. And I was like, okay. And I started finding out all of this stuff and was like, now this is making a little bit more sense.
Yeah.
Now it's actually starting to come together, because if you look at Jay Campbell and what went down in Mean, Arkansas, let me explain something to everyone. These people, they never quit. Like, they got arrested, they went to prison, but they didn't lose their contacts. They didn't lose all their special favors.
No.
They didn't lose all their corrupt judges and, you know, police officers. And, well, I'm sorry, but most of those police officers had kids of their own, and their kids are grown up watching this corruption their whole life. And then guess what? Cycle starts all over, just in a different county.
Jay Campbell carries a lot of power and a lot of weight. He's most dangerous. And when I finish up with this, I'm going to go back to what I was doing at the beginning of last night, which is show official documents where, from the Boys on the Tracks case out of Bryant, the official document where it names Jay Campbell and Kirk Lane, and they got asterisks beside them, and then at the bottom the asterisk means most dangerous.
Yes.
And we know Anthony Shane Scott knew way more than just what came out at trial about Jay Campbell. I mean, we know this.
Anthony did not want to testify because he feared for his life.
He was held in contempt 3 times. 3 times.
You know, and I think the only reason that Anthony didn't die before he was able to testify against Jay Campbell was because he did keep his mouth shut in contempt of court for so long.
That, and he was, and then he went to prison for 20 years, or had a 20-year stint, and I was pointing out, he just got out last March or April, and then went to a halfway house, and within 4 months, he's dead.
Yep.
So I'm talking, is this alleged revenge kill with Jay Campbell?
You know, it wouldn't surprise me, because that would mean that not a single person who was ever supposed to testify or did testify against Jay Campbell lived through it.
No.
That would mean that Anthony was the last known victim as to date. I do not think, let me tell you what, we went out there with Search Dog South Wednesday, and I walked that man's footsteps.
Yeah.
He should still be alive.
Yeah. He should still be alive unless somebody killed him. And we have, in his own words, the cops are after him.
They won't give his daughter the 911 calls. They say that this is an open investigation, but if you go look at Mr. Bell's Facebook post, he succumbed to the elements.
Yeah, I pointed that out earlier. We should know, he said we should know that the elements, or that he could have succumbed to the elements. I mean, it's all a setup for, he died, he froze to death or something. It's all BS.
Yeah. And I think that something else, if they're not going to release Anthony's 911 calls, they need to release the body cam footage of whatever officers were there at that property last, that night.
Agree.
Even if there was the disturbance next door or whatever that was spoken of, I think that body cam footage needs released.
Yeah.
I think all of the footage needs released.
And he named in the audio police chief and another female officer.
Yes. The chief of police in Pocahontas, Arkansas, and a female officer was who he said.
Yeah. Who is the chief of police in Pocahontas?
I don't know.
I need to
I've only dealt with the sheriff's
on my
department,
game.
So
this has been such an explosive case. I've missed a few things as far as all it take is a quick Google and to find out. But yeah, it's a travesty. It's what I'm calling a murder. And then they're saying the autopsy won't be back for what, 6 months, and we know the lab is corrupt as hell.
Not everyone at the crime. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, if
medical
Peretti,
examiner.
If Peretti gets a hold of the case, it's a done deal. Peretti's one of the worst ones there, and I guarantee you, he's probably over that case. He will.
And you can kind of see if you start paying attention. If you're looking at cases and stuff in Arkansas, I'll tell you two main ways to know if it's a legitimate investigation or not. If you look at a case in Arkansas and it's unsolved, and you look at the officers in charge of that case, and then you look at the constituents of the people that died, and you compare it to another unsolved case in that county, and that person has the same constituents and the same officers work the case, and they're both unsolved, guess what?
Cover it.
You found a case of Arkansas. And it's crazy, and I'm not saying that because I believe that there are good cops out there.
Yeah, there are.
But I'm telling you right now, and if you'll also pay attention, all these sheriffs that come out of these state troopers C and D that end up as sheriffs, you might want to look into that a little deeper too. Officer Bell used to be an Arkansas state trooper in Troop C.
Okay.
And look at the people connected C that came from Lone Oak County. I'm just going to leave it at that.
Yeah.
And look at the judges that preside over these cases. Yes.
Yeah, and the fact that he came from Lone Oak County or Lone Oak City Jail, that just all the more. I mean, it runs so wild and so deep. And I always say, if there's there's no such thing as unsolved murder in the state of Arkansas. If there is an unsolved murder in the state of Arkansas, it's because they don't want it solved, and you have to ask yourself why. And
I agree with that.
And with Anthony Shane Scott is a prime example of they don't want it solved. It's a cover-up.
I think that we have too many people in a position of authority and power that are pandering to criminal enterprise in our state, and it is suppressing our communities.
Yeah.
It is criminalizing our people.
Yeah.
And it is killing our children, our husbands, our wives.
Yeah.
And our sons and our daughters.
Yeah, that's why I do what I do, because my daughter is the number one thing to me, and if it can happen to people like Kevin Ives and Don Henry, Anthony Shane Scott, I mean, it can happen to anyone. And it's not just daughters, it's sons, it's nephews, nieces, grandparents, adults. I mean, you name it,
Well, I'm going to say this, JoJo, because it has been so amazing talking to you, but then I'm going to get off here and let you finish doing your live stream, because I'm so ready to see what you're bringing with the MENA connections and everything. But I will say this. I get along with police officers. It's literally part of my job description as the public relations person to have a good decorum with law enforcement and to work with law enforcement. So I do not take it lightly whatsoever in telling you that it is egregious that the Randolph County Sheriff's Department pulled us off of the search for Anthony Shane Scott at Friday at 3:47 in the afternoon, when that man was still in them woods missing over a Facebook post that had nothing to do with them.
A fake Facebook post, exactly. I mean, talk about they talk about You know, if it doesn't come from us, then it's not credible. Well, they just went off some random girl's Facebook post and said, yep, he's been found. I mean, if that doesn't scream cover up, I don't know what does.
I got to be honest with you, JoJo. If it wasn't for his activism from his daughter in trying to find him, they would have probably just left him out there, to be honest with you.
Oh, yeah, he would have never been found.
It was not until she went to his parole officer and got the documentation that he was in good standing. And then his parole officer's like, I need him found right now. Whenever the parole officer got involved with finding him, then they found him half a mile from where he was last seen on video.
Wow.
200 yards from where we had to stop searching Wednesday because Miss Paulette ended up falling.
Yeah. The lady that was searching, she ended up falling and hurting her back and had to quit.
Yes.
And then,
and bless her heart, let me tell you what, they have that team, Search Dog South. That woman is so professional and so calm and so courteous. And whenever she gets Venus out of the van, the dog van, because they, take really good care of their dogs. She's just an old bloodhound, and she's a little skittish and she's so sweet. But that dog picked up Anthony's trail, and we walked in that man's footsteps, everything.
Yeah.
And they could have kept searching Wednesday after we had to stop searching. And it's absolutely ridiculous because I told Officer Weisenbach Wednesday after we had to quit searching when Miss Paulette fell, I said, look, I'm going to tell you right now, Officer Weisenbach, that man is lost right back there on the southeast side of the property near that little strip lake that ain't even a lake.
Yeah.
I didn't know the name of it at the time. I said, and he needs you to find him.
Yeah. And Kevin Bell didn't even mention Dogs of the South in his post when he was giving accolades to Jonesboro Police Department. Jonesboro Police Department wasn't out there.
I never seen one police officer from the Jonesboro area.
I mean, he just lied and made up the schizophrenia. He was off his meds. I mean, I remember talking to Ashley and you and everybody's like, he wasn't schizophrenic. Where did this come from?
He was not, I repeat, he was not schizophrenic.
Yeah.
That is a bold-faced lie, and I think that the reason they said that is because I called KAIT and was like, hey, can y'all put the word out? We need all the search teams we can get in here helping look for this man, right?
Yeah.
And then KAIT called Sheriff Bill to see if he was really missing, to see if it was a real story or whatever, and told him that he was schizophrenic because they knew about the 911 calls.
Yeah, he just pulled it out of his butt.
Yep, pulled it right out of his hindy.
And they didn't know about the calls to his daughter. And then I think Ashley told me once they figured that out, because she spilled the beans, they all of a sudden huddled over together and got in a hurry, and they freaked out.
And something else I find very, very odd. We walked that man's footsteps. I mean, that dog was leading us right to where he was. If Miss Paulette hadn't fallen, we would have found him Wednesday, okay?
Yeah.
The police said that they never found his shoes or his phone.
Unbelievable.
And the thing is if Anthony had hypothermia and started undressing, his shoes wouldn't come off first. His shirt would.
No, and his phone would be on his person.
Yes. Granted, his phone had died.
Well, dead or alive, it was on him. He had his phone. That was clear from all of his calls. He had his phone. He wasn't letting go of his phone. Just because it died doesn't mean he'd throw it off somewhere. I mean, you know what I'm saying?
And there's one more false statement by Officer Bell that is in that Facebook post that you commented on. I wanted to point out to you real quick.
Okay.
They said that the sheriff's department or the police department stopped by for 4 minutes after he called at 11 o'clock. That is a lie. They don't know. They don't understand that there is video footage of that property that they are not aware of.
Yeah.
That shows they never responded to the call. They simply drove past the property.
Yes. Yes. Unbelievable. Well, thank you so much for your time. Is there anything else
Thank you, JoJo. Officer Bill. Let me tell you what, it's a First Amendment violation, sir, to silence certain individuals on Facebook. Whenever you make a post in your official capacity as the sheriff, you are not allowed to choose that only your friends can comment on your post.
That's right.
That is a violation of my federal rights. And I intend on suing you, sir, and Randolph County because you're their sheriff.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, you turn commenting off. Except for the one post where I commented and haven't heard back. I kept thinking he was going to block me. He hadn't blocked me. My post is still there. My comment where I said, I read it already, but
I filed a complaint and it disappeared. So now I'm going to have to file suit.
Yeah. You go, girl.
So, but anyone actually that follows his posts that is unable to comment on those posts in his official capacity should probably go file a $100 lawsuit. You'll probably get like $15,000-$20,000 out of it.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
They want to silence people that can speak out against what happened.
Oh yeah.
That's what's going on.
Oh yeah.
That's the reason he has those posts set to where only his close friends can comment.
That's right. No doubt about
and
it.
It's ridiculous. And it's corruption. It's corruption in its most basic form. So
yeah.
Anyways, JoJo, thank you for having me. My husband's gonna take me out and stuff for my birthday.
Oh, how fun. Enjoy your birthday and thank you for being on.
Thank you so much, JoJo. I'm gonna finish watching the stream, but I'm gonna do it while I put my makeup on.
Okay. We'll talk soon.
We'll talk soon. God bless you, JoJo.
All right. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
So hold on 1 second. There you have it. Mind blown. I don't know. I mean, just when you can't get blown anymore. This relates directly to Jay Campbell, Boys on the Tracks. Now we're going to shift gears and do what I did at the beginning of the podcast last night, which was the Terry Wayne Miller, the eyewitness to the boys on the tracks being murdered. Let me turn my Bluetooth off.
Bluetooth pairing.
Okay. Give me just a second. And if you've already heard this, forgive me. Everything was spliced up. Well, let's start with this one. Boys on the Tracks murders. This is a very interesting and official document. This is a post I did in case anybody out there hadn't seen it. Okay, Donald's here again. This is a very interesting official document given to me by Linda Ives, mother of Kevin Ives, regarding the investigation into the deaths of Kevin Ives and Don Henry. Notice the asterisk sign written on the bottom of the page, which refers to who the most dangerous men are. Then notice the asterisk sign right next to Kirk Lane and Jay Campbell's names. Kirk Lane and Jay Campbell murdered those boys. Okay. Here's Kirk Lane. Murdering Kirk Lane. One of these days I'm going to get fancy and be able to show you. There's Jay Campbell. Murdering Jay Campbell. And then here's the official document. And if you'll notice, it's Pulaski County Sheriff document. It's got Kirk Lane written on the top and his description, Jay Campbell written next to it with his description, and an asterisk besides both names. And then at the very bottom, as like a, not symbol, but I guess symbol, the guy wrote asterisk, most dangerous, because he describes a few other people, Danny Maddox, heard that name before, and a Carrie Thomas, and they don't have asterisks by their names. But Big Kirk Lane, asterisk, asterisk, and then the asterisk down by most dangerous. And Kirk Lane and Jay Campbell have those asterisks. Then to Terry Wayne Miller, who I've talked about before, never got in contact with until last week. Find it. Regarding Boys on the Tracks murders. Attention, I'm in search of a man by the name of Terry Wayne Miller from Grant County. I want to speak to him ASAP. You see, on August 23rd, 1987, the night the boys were murdered and their dead bodies were placed on the railroad tracks to be run over, Mr. Terry Wayne Miller was there. I have an eyewitness that puts Mr. Miller both at the wagon wheel bar where the drugs from the drug drop were being dispersed and puts Mr. Miller at the railroad tracks the night the boys were murdered. You see, back then, Terry Wayne Miller was the biggest drug dealer in Grant and Saline County. He would get his, quote, share of the drugs straight from the drug drops to sell on down. And note this, at the time, Mr. Miller was also renting a house from none other than Gene Duffy back then, the corrupt attorney who was over the drug task force with the, quote, mission of so-called, quote, investigating the corruption and drug dealing regarding the boys' murders. And Jean Duffy knew she was renting her home to the biggest drug dealer in Grant and Saline County. Facts. It should also be noted, as soon as the boys were murdered, Terry Wayne Miller and his wife hightailed it out of Jean Duffy's rent house. Also, at the time, Mr. Miller's wife was working as a paralegal for, get this, attorney Dan Harmon, for whom was also at the Wagon Wheel Bar as well as the railroad tracks that night. So my request is this for anyone out there seeing this Facebook post and for whom knows Terry Wayne Miller, as well as how to get in touch with him, please send him this Facebook post because I need to speak with him ASAP. It is way past time for Mr. Miller to start talking. And then I put a picture of Terry Wayne so y'all can all see him. And then Jean Duffy. She's as crooked as they come. Now, if you watch the Carnage on Ice videos, Jean Duffy was the good one. She was the only good one in the whole thing. Yeah, right. So I messaged Terry Wayne Miller. Find it. I have some not want me to pull it up. Honey, I could pull it up last night. Can't pull it up. But what I messaged him was a screenshot of what I just read to you. And then I wrote, you were there the night, I'm ad-libbing, you were there the night that the boys were murdered. It's time to start spilling the beans. And he blocked me. And which, no surprise there, right? And then last night when I was on there, he had unblocked me. So I thought, well, maybe he's having a change of heart. Maybe he's, well, not that he's having a change of heart, but why would he unblock me? So I messaged back, you unblocked me. Are you ready to spill the beans? Are you ready to talk? And he blocked me back, and now I can't find him on there. But Terry Wayne Miller, I'm looking for you. You know what happened, and I'm not going to let up until you talk. I'm not going to do it. I've held on to his name for 7 years. 7 years. I've mentioned it a few times in the last few podcasts, which was a year ago, but not enough probably to get his attention. I have his attention now. He's probably watching, and he's probably scared to death, which he should be. I have no sympathy for this man whatsoever. He was there. He knows everything that happened, and he's a live witness, like a lot of them are. Everybody always thought, oh, all the witnesses are dead. No, they're not. No, they're not. I find witnesses every day that they're still alive. So with that, we've made it a whole 2 hours and got the whole thing in. Let me go back to chat. I hate it that I couldn't. I was scared to promote this because I was afraid YouTube would take it down. But it sounds like we've got it. Sounds like we've got it good. And again, in case part of it, and I'm going to go back and delete the videos from last night because this is the video that's got everything in it. But I did hear from Dawn Henry's cousin. It's the first time I've ever heard from the Henry family, and she's fully support. Her name's Sherry Chris. She fully supports what I do. Regina just found out Anthony's autopsy's back and has been released, but the cops haven't given it to his daughter. She just messaged me. Okay. Well, more to come on Anthony Shane Scott. I keep wanting to call him Shane Anthony Scott because he goes by Shane, so y'all forgive me. More to come on Boys on the Tracks. I've got an interview with that we're going to play. I don't know if it's the next time or we'll just see how it goes, but with an Alderman Brad Moore, who back when Kirk Lane was police chief of Benton, Brad Moore was an alderman, and as he puts it, worked under Kirk Lane's regime. And it's a very interesting interview, very interesting. And that was the one I was going to play the next after I took off for a year. Sorry for that. I am back. I think all my health problems have subsided so far. Things are going well. I don't want to say when you'll hear from me again. It could be a few days, it could be a week, but you will hear from me again. I've been working diligently on all kinds of cases, Boys on the Tracks, namely. And then this one, and some corruption in Independence County. So lots and lots to come. Let's see, Regina. He is Shane that everyone loved him. Shane, yeah, he goes by Shane. I always want to say his full name, Anthony Shane Scott, but he goes by Shane, his middle name. Thank you so much, Regina and Friends Crime Chat. Thank you so much for all you do and being a voice for justice. You are so appreciated. Thank you. Thank you. It means a lot to hear that. You guys, a little compliment goes a long way with me because this is hard stuff and it's hard to get motivated sometimes. It's dark stuff. So any encouragement you can give me, I appreciate it. If everyone would go and hit the like button, hit the like button and comment in the comment section. That would be greatly appreciated. It helps with the algorithms to get my video out there. Yeah, it is very hard stuff. And over the last 7 years, you all have been with me. Know I've seen some really dark stuff, and it can mind F you for sure. I think that's everything. I woke up and I thought, we're going to try this again, even though I got to do it all over again. Reread. And we're going to go through Jay Campbell's stint as Lone Oak Police Chief when he was out of control in Lone Oak County, and how that deals with my ex-father-in-law who got in trouble. I always say, and it's kind of getting off topic a little bit, but Asa Hutchinson was the U.S. attorney in the Western District of Arkansas when MENA was going on, and Bob Govar, at the time, I wasn't married to his son at the time. He was my future ex-father-in-law. He was the U.S. attorney in the Eastern District of Arkansas, and they were all covering up MENA. They were all covering up the boys on the tracks. And Barry Seals was killed because of Asa Hutchinson. They all have blood on their hands. We're going to get to all that and more of all the swamp creatures. And oh, by the way, Trump just fired Ross. I can't remember his first name. His last name's Ross, from U.S. Attorney from the Western District of Arkansas. He's fixing to replace him. I trust Trump. I trust everything he does. Trump's done a lot in Arkansas since he's taken office, and I just hope that he can get to the bottom of stuff, and we need him for sure. Regina says, it's very hard stuff, especially when you get to know the families impacted. It hurts to see beautiful families robbed of their loved ones. Good people that would take bullets for strangers. It's heartbreaking. She couldn't have said it better than I could have. It's the truth. It's very hard stuff. But with that, I'm going to let everybody go. I'm Shelly Jo. My daughter's Maya Jo. She's the reason I fight, and we're the JoJo's for Justice. Again, please hit the like button, comment in the comment sections when the stream's ended. That's very helpful with the algorithms, and share my stuff. Doesn't cost you a dime. I do have PayPal. It's under $ Shelly. I can't even remember. Hold on just a second. It's under $ ShellyJoGovar, GOV as in Victor AR, and that's JO with no E on the end. And then my PayPal is at ShellyGovar. So if anybody would like to donate to the cause, it would be extremely appreciated. Again, I'm Shelly Jo. My daughter's Maya Jo. She's the reason I fight, and we're the JoJo's for Justice. Y'all have a good afternoon. Happy birthday, Regina.